Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the chilihead community, by the chilihead community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, we have an amazing show here tonight. We have one sauce on deck and a great guest locked and loaded, and of course, the return of the Sauce Gauntlet. So, episode 103 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here, rocking and rolling, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, Apple Podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making the show what it is. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are just curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. Up tonight, we have one sauce on deck. This one's from Chico Blanco Hot Sauce. We'll be diving into Taco Villain. And then we have John from Jersey Barnfire. We're going to be discussing everything Jersey Barnfire, how they got started, the journey that they've taken to get where they're at, the sauce that started it all, and also kind of touch on as well some to do with co-packing. So, hey, if you are one that enjoys the Sauce Gauntlet, well, tonight you're in luck. And we have the Sauce Gauntlet returning. So if you would have answered the bracket different than John does, go ahead and fire off in the comments and let me know which one you would have had winning the Sauce Gauntlet. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. Hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. We have an amazing sauce here on deck tonight. This one's from Chico Blanco Hot Sauce. This is the Taco Villain. If you've remembered the prior review of Taco Hero, this is going to be its sinister, spicier, evil twin. So Taco Villain, we'll be diving into that today. And definitely want to go ahead, and if this is your first time checking out the podcast or Hot or Not, I do things a little bit different here. I don't like to read the ingredients ahead of schedule. I like to let my taste buds really do that exploration and really let it define what I'm picking up from a flavor standpoint. Also, I don't do a 1 out of 10. I do a 1 out of 5, and that's really based off of 5 different categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, and burn. And yes, heat is that max first 30-second window. After that is burn. That's where it sits, how it sits. Does it amplify? Does it migrate? Does it move around? That's where you're going to be really understanding the burn. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and it has this great tassel on there, so I don't want to disrupt the tassel. I'm going to take that and put that to the side. Give this a good shake. So if you are keeping track, no, the cellophane on this is not perforated. Perfectly fine. I like to be able to use my knife anyways, so this gives me a good excuse. So just cut along the side, and we'll remove the wrapper and get this going. So great color to the sauce. Once again, same overall hue to this, maybe a little bit touch more on the red side than, say, Taco Hero, as to where Taco Hero, I think, might have had a slightly darker brown, if you will, as this has a brighter red to it. But ultimately, about the same overall color and consistency from what I'm seeing here. So absolutely loving that. And we'll go ahead and crack this one on open. Oh, wow. That smells magical. Very similar from the aroma standpoint. If you've had Taco Hero, it's going to be very similar in that nature, except for you're getting much more pepper forward note on this. It definitely smells like a Superhot, and man, I really want to go ahead and potentially I think I know that aroma, but I'm gonna let my taste buds kind of figure out to see if that fact checks kind of what I'm picking up here. But cheers. Let's get a good pour going here. Boom. Look at that. Beautiful pour. It's like straight out of a commercial. And there we go. All right. Tablespoon full. Cheers. Wow. So good. Silky smooth. Beautiful texture. Nice little seed bits in there. Nice specks of seasoning. Man, oh man. Flavor bomb. It is just like a cascading of flavor nodes just exploding on my taste buds right now. That is magical. So, definitely right off the bat, you're getting the nice heat coming in. It's probably about, I want to say maybe 10, 15 seconds in that you really start to feel the heat start to ramp up. And then from there, you're really getting this great, smooth, inviting, soothing note coming through. It's kind of like some onions, some garlic, definitely picking up some of the cumin. There's a citrus kind of cut to it, if you will, but it's not like in your face citrus. It's almost as if it's a palate break almost is the way that it feels whenever that pepper starts to really kick in. And I can definitely tell you that the pepper notes that are going on in here have to be more than one pepper source, because ultimately the different notes and the way that they're hitting and building on the tongue is indicative of a few different areas. Also having it sit on the back of the throat now, so there's definitely a Superhot in this. So all in all, this experience is absolutely amazing. Taco Villain is going to be a home run if you are looking for a spicy taco sauce go-to. This has got you covered. Taco Hero is great if you're just starting out. Taco Villain is going to be where you're going to want to be if you are constantly working on your own personal best and you want to ramp up taco night. So definitely loving that one. As the heat really kind of fades out, you're really left with a sizzling, roaring burn on the back of the throat. Nothing in the chest, nothing in the stomach, but just really consolidated and parked on the back of the throat. It's sitting there. It is kind of a lingering build. I wouldn't say it's building anymore. It's really kind of starting to fade out. But all in all, absolutely tasty, magical in that sense. Now, I talked about tacos. This thing can go on quite a bit more than just tacos, but this would be my go-to for, say, taco night or Mexican food in general. Enchiladas, quesadillas, chimichangas, anything that you're going to be really wrapping in here. A torta, this is going to be phenomenal with that as well. You're going to be able to really benefit from that cumin and that garlic and that onion coming forward and being kind of the key focal point, ahead as the front runner to those peppers that are in here. So as the peppers are really doing their thing, you're graced with the great, there's a slight fruity note from the pepper, but there's a lot of more of an earthy note going on there. So I'm definitely excited to see what peppers are in this. So all in all, phenomenal stuff. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump on over here and read some ingredients. So Taco Villain from Chico Blanco Hot Sauce. Ingredients are, there we go, 7-pot Primo, Jumbo Serrano, jalapeno, cayenne, hatch red chili, and ancho. So then we have, that's the peppers in here. Then we have apple cider vinegar, distilled vinegar, lime juice. There's that citrus. Brown sugar. Interesting. I didn't even notice that. Then garlic, onion, cumin, and salt. So the last 4 ingredients, 3 of the last 4 ingredients are the ones that you notice probably the most from a flavor standpoint outside of the peppers as they roll in. So very well done, very well balanced. Everything in there plays harmonious and well with one another. Phenomenal sauce from Chico Blanco Hot Sauce. That is Taco Villain. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and read off some scores here. All right, here we go. Heat coming in at 3.6, aroma of 3.89, a flavor of 4.2, versatility of a 4, burn of a 3.9 for a total swear word rating of 3.92. There we go. A very solid sauce for taco night, for Mexican food, for tacos, burgers, pizzas, you name it. This is going to be great on there, and absolutely loving the overall, heat and burn that this really delivers. It's a very nice, long-lasting burn, and that's the thing that I appreciate the most about this. It is not short-lived. You're going to be able to experience and enjoy it the whole way through. If you're just starting out, this sauce might be a bit much for you, but don't worry. Fear not. Taco Hero has you covered. So both of those will be linked down below. I'll have the main link to the website and a direct link for Taco Villain. So for those that are working on your own personal best, you always like seeking out things that are going to test your overall capsaicin thresholds. Highly recommend you checking out Taco Villain and bringing some life to Taco Tuesday or Taco Thursday, however you break it down. But either way, it's going to be a great time. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to the interview. Hey, John, how's it going?
Hey, Brandon, how are you, man?
Man, doing good. I am honored to have you here. I've always heard amazing things about you and Austin and what y'all have going on, as well as all the, the majority of times, a lot of people just like to bring up y'all sauces individually as well. And, heard amazing things. Looking forward to learning more about Jersey Barnfire and how everything got going.
Oh, right on. Happy to be here, man. Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
One thing I always like to start off with is the icebreaker, if you will, whenever meeting someone is what got you into the world of hot, and what was that moment that you were like, I'm going to start making my own spicy products?
Well, for me, it was honestly, and Austin was actually kind of in on this with me as well. We were both golf caddies at a country club in West Caldwell, New Jersey. And at the end of the season, they always have a barbecue. And you have the caddy barbecue, which is usually like burgers and hot dogs and your basic, white people stuff. And then you have the groundskeeper guys and the, maintenance people, and they have their thing going on. And there were of all types of ethnicities, mostly, Mexican, South American, Latin, backgrounds, and they would be cooking all kinds of cool stuff. And the one year we just got curious and kind of went to take a peek at what they were doing. And I always had an interest in a variety of foods because my family was despite being an Italian family, and everyone thinks, oh, wow, yeah, you must eat great. There still was lacking a lot of like flavor profiles that I don't know. I was always curious about different types of food, no matter what. And I always wanted to try new things. And when I saw this going on, I was like, we got to get in on this. So we decided to be brave and go all the way at the other end of the area of the golf course where they were doing their thing. And we're like, hey, hi, can we try some of your goodies you got going on here? They got this huge like barbecue with jalapenos and chicken and all this stuff, like a barbecue the size of like a driveway, just loaded with all this stuff. Wow. And like just stuff. I mean, you eat at Taco Bell and stuff like that. It's not like that. So, it was like a scene out of a movie. There was like the El Camino and the freaking music playing and grandma sitting in the lawn chair with drinking a Corona. Like, no lie. I wish I could have recorded this. It was a little before we had the streaming media though.
Yep.
And, I just, first jalapeno I ate, it was probably like, I don't know, it was probably about 17, 18. I don't know. I didn't really eat much spicy stuff before that. And I was like, I think they all thought I was going to cry or something. And I didn't. I was like, give me more. I want another one. And I was like, this is what's missing in my life. And it sparked this whole thing. And then I started seeking out hot sauces and found this hot pepper shop or hot sauce shop rather, in Pennsylvania, and started going there and buying all these crazy hot sauces. Well, stuff that was hot at the time. Now you can't even compare. But trying all these different flavors and just kind of getting into spicier and spicier things. And it just totally kickstarted everything. But everything I found was either too hot and no flavor, or it tasted good and wasn't hot enough. It's every sauce that I tried seemed to be missing something. And I was like, why can't it all just be in one bottle?
Yep.
And I mean, I had never been to any hot sauce events, or I don't even know if there was any really yet, at least that I was aware of. And said, I'm gonna try messing around with my own thing. And of course, I was like, yeah, I'll do that, and never happened. Fast forward, I mean, we're talking this is like mid '90s, late '90s. And then, we're going into, 2020, around say 2010. I was working in a kitchen, and, we were doing staff meal, and, we'd always be throwing together some type of condiment to have with the staff meal, and ended up kind of coming up with something interesting, and just sort of messing around with some of the other chefs and whatnot. And one of the first, what would ultimately become the first Jersey Barnfire hot sauce, kind of came to be basically through staff meal at a job in a kitchen where I was working as a pastry chef. Because for those of you who don't know, 25 years and counting, I've been a pastry chef all around New Jersey, New York, and the sweet and the heat is what gets me going, man. It's all about that balance. And after working with sweet all day, I needed salty and hot. So whatever I was eating had a condiment, had something salty, whatever. And it just sort of snowballed from there. There was something when Austin and I connected. We started making this just for friends and family. And I mean, I've known Austin since I was a teenager, probably since, again, like I was saying, when I started, when the fire, sparked with the hot foods and whatnot. And we had been friends ever since. And just sort of like, did a whole 360, come around to where we started making this sauce together for our friends and family. And we got an opportunity through some of the culinary connections that I had in the restaurant world to do some farmers markets, showcase it at some events, this and that. And it was a hit. And from that moment forward, we, decided, okay, we were selling out at farmers markets. We were, starting to get some inquiries from stores, but we still didn't really have our shit together. So we, just are we going to take this to the next level or not? And we ended up doing it. And, here we are almost 12 years later from our first, test batch. And, we've got at least 15 plus flavors. We go seasonally with a lot of things in New Jersey, where you have stuff from local farms, stuff that's foraged, and just a whole wide array of different flavors, something for everyone. And we also started co-packing as well. So for those of you who don't know that, we've been doing consulting, recipe development, things like that, and actual bottling of other companies' products that we started doing probably about halfway into it. Just started out with a favor for a friend, and word got out, and then now it's a big part of our business.
Nice. Yeah. So there's many things I want to touch on that were throughout there, but I guess real quick to kind of step through some of these, you had mentioned having that first catapulting sauce, like that moment, the first Jersey Barnfire sauce. What was that one for y'all, and is that one still one that you offer today?
Well, that was what we ended up marketing as the original, and at one point that was the only sauce we had, and we stopped selling it because everybody wants the the fancier stuff. The original ultimately became the black garlic, which is now one of our best selling sauces and pretty much always has been. We were actually the first hot sauce company to have a black garlic anything really. And now you see where that went. It's
Yep.
everywhere. If it ain't truffle, it's black garlic. And it was actually through the culinary industry because you tend to see trends happen sooner in restaurants in the kitchen before it gets out into the mainstream. And I saw black garlic in a restaurant probably back in 2008 or 9. And, I didn't really know what I was looking at. I was just kind of like, whoa, what's that? And I was actually doing a stage, which is like a sort of like a day trial of a restaurant in New York. And this chef had it and let me try it. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I just sort of was like, you know, went to the back burner. And then years later, I saw it again at another chef's event, and we had just made the original, and we decided, hey, what if we were to throw black garlic in that original blend? And it was like lightning in a bottle, as they say. And that quickly took over the original, and ultimately it just kind of slowed down enough where we sort of put it on the shelf for a bit. But that's what led to the black garlic, and that became our flagship, our you know our claim to fame initially when we got on the scene.
Yep. Well, that's something that's often brought up, definitely on here, as well as we have a very fun game called the Sauce Gauntlet. Also highlighting some other companies that have introduced themselves into the black garlic game, right, as well. And it always ties back to, pretty sure that Jersey Barnfire is actually the ones that first started this here on the hot sauce side of things. And it's always a fun nugget to be able to grab and to have out there. So that's that, as you were saying, yes, that has absolutely taken over like wildfire, and really been able to excite the minds, the palates, the taste buds of many folks. And it's one of those that is commonly, whenever people hear Jersey Barnfire, that's one of the first things they fire off with is that black garlic hot sauce. And it's definitely one that has made the impact. And as you're saying, being able to have that culinary background, I've started to notice the trend of sauce makers in general that have that culinary experience, that background. No matter what kind of avenue within the culinary world it was, it influences in a great way because it brings this almost specialized focus from one area into how can this apply into the sauce world, and really makes a pivotal pivotal piece right there ultimately, right? It's not your standard just throw peppers and onions in a bottle and call it a day. So
Oh yeah, there's a lot more thought process that goes involved into it. And I mean, I've always been a very almost recipe oriented person, being in pastry, because everything has to be so precise. Baking is a whole different animal than cooking, and it's hard to backtrack. It's hard to you forget the baking powder and your cake's already in the oven, you're screwed.
yep.
You're baking a steak, you can add a little more salt and pepper. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
one thing. Like, obviously there goes in a million different directions from there, but uh with this, I was always focused on, and especially getting into different type of cuisines, um, different flavor combinations, how they work together, and even some ones that are a little bit like different and unique, and like, well, is that really going to work? That sounds strange, but when you try it, you're like, wow, that's really something. A funny thing though, with all our whole line of sauces, most of the savory, me, of course, me being the pastry chef, most of the savory sauces were ultimately a lot of my brainchild, whereas the sweet sauces were Austin's.
Wow.
And everyone's like, "Oh, you probably did all the sweet sauces." I'm like, actually, no, it was the other way around. Like, his idea was the strawberry. We have strawberry scorpion, apples and spice, and roasted peach habanero. And although we worked with each other as we do all of the sauces to develop them to they get to ultimately what we like to say is if we wouldn't drink them out of the bottle, we are not going to bottle them. And I mean, I know we got a couple of newer, hotter ones now that are going to be a little tough for me to drink out of the bottle, but we've had our extended circle of friends and chili family that we had do a little taste testing for us, and they've given us the green light on some of the things that were a little past our threshold.
Yeah.
So
Well, that part's got to be a lot of fun, and yeah, to that same point, that's very similar to where I was already kind of thinking to ask a question as well, which was around the idea of with you being a pastry chef. It's definitely an interesting take on how Austin was really the one to kind of help brainchild bring those to light on the sweeter sauces. But at the same time, I say that, but then as you were explaining it, it kind of clicked in my head. It's the same way that like you'll have people that are like engineers, something that's like a lot more rigid, or it's defined in one niche, if you will, and then they find their outlet, whether that be in art and sauce, whatever, that they can show their creative self. They can bring something different than something that they're used to doing day in, day out, 24/7, and they get to just explore and have fun. And those often bring, great masterpieces to the table whenever that happens. But also to that point, that's where I was initially thinking is, have you dabbled in, with you having your experience in pastry, have you been dabbling in any kind of spicy pastries or anything that you make locally?
oh yeah, actually, this is great too, and I'm glad I have a lot of friends that are really into these ideas. Um, we started doing an annual spicy food dinner at our friend's restaurant in Montclair, New Jersey. It's called Joya Mia. And every year in July, we do a spicy food dinner. It's 5 courses. It's all like, higher end stuff. 5 courses. Each course is paired with one of our hot sauces, including dessert. And every year we change up the menu. We have different chefs come in and, guest chef and whatnot. The owner of the restaurant I used to work with actually when I was, tinkering around with the original back when we actually reconnected at a mutual colleague's wedding a couple of years back and started talking about this after a bunch of alcohol and hanging out at an event. And I thought he was just going to throw it away. I was like, oh, we should do a spicy food dinner. And I'm like, yeah, he's never going to want to do that. And then literally the next day, him and his the co-owner of the restaurant were like, hey, we want to do this. And I was like, okay. So it's going to be the third year now. It's going to be this July. I don't have a specific date yet. But yeah, I mean, certain restaurants I've worked in I haven't had that ability to really, because the clientele just really, I try to sneak it in where I can or where I could have. But now it's like we have very specific outlets where we're like, hey, we're going to do like I did these fried ricotta donuts. They were like little
Oh,
beignets.
wow.
We drizzled them with the strawberry scorpion. We also did what was it? I wish I had a picture I could show you or whatever, but check out our Instagram at Jersey Barnfire and go back a little bit. There's from the last dinner last year we did it was like a peach semifredo. We used the roasted peach habanero sauce, added some to a peach compote. There was a peach mousse. Um, what else? Every aspect of the dessert, drizzled a little bit of the sauce on it as well, but it was infused in other elements of the dish also. And it was huge. We had like a packed house, probably like 60 plus people, and it really, again, we're doing it a third year now. People really were into it, and they keep coming back for it. So
Yeah.
absolutely desserts.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I mentioned this on episode that wasn't too long ago, but I feel like the amount of folks that are making, whether that be dessert sauces, dessert powders, seasoning blends, etc. It's so small comparative to the overall grand scheme of things, and it's a missed opportunity because it's a great way to bring some heat and some savory flavor to help kind of offset some of the oversweet areas and find that nice marriage to your overall dessert dish. And man, it's like those folks that can execute it like y'all can. It's just absolutely pivotal to really adding that next step, like continuing that Chili Heads, meal experience by being able to find those pairings and have that really work out.
Oh, yeah. Actually, the first time I really integrated that was in New Jersey. We have this organization called the Food Shed Alliance, and I was doing farm to table dinners, depending on wherever I was working for this. It's to raise money for sustainable agriculture in New Jersey. And, being that we were already a part of, using a lot of local produce in our sauces and working with the farms, I absolutely wanted to jump on this event. So everyone, it was like sort of like a chef's tasting. You go around a room and every chef would have a table with a different type of food, little bite sort of thing. And so I would sort of, I guess, infuse the hot sauce into a dessert for these events. And we had a whole different, whole array of people that would come in. It wasn't just like the clientele from a restaurant, so I felt like more comfortable trying this out on just a new crowd. And a lot of people were really blown away. They really liked the contrast. They liked the sweet with the heat. And something like I did, what was it, in the fall last year, I did a like a cider donut type dessert. And we did the apples and spice sauce. There was like a cinnamon cream, an apple compote, the donut, uh, all kinds of components, but incorporating the spice in a way that would complement it and give it complexity, not just to be like, oh, it's hot in there.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and speaking on food and creation and sharing with others, I started to hear a little bit about something, and was wanting to hear more, I guess, more or less get a better understanding of what was happening. So I was told that y'all had a kind of a rental home with Primo, and that he brought some boudin, or what was it? It was something like that, and then y'all brought some ham or something. Is that about right, or what was going on there?
Taylor, yeah, yeah. The official staple of New Jersey. Depending on what side of the tracks you're on, you call it Taylor ham or you call it pork roll. In my opinion, both answers are right. You all can fight about it as much as you want. I don't care. People get like kind of wild and aggressive about it sometimes, and whatever. But I grew up in North Jersey, so we called it Taylor ham. That's just what I was growing up doing, and that's always been something that has been like kind of special to my upbringing, to my the area I grew up in. You go too far out of that range and people don't even know what it is. You don't even know what pork roll is. They're just like, well, what is that? Like, they have no idea. It's becoming a little more widespread now, but maybe even 10 years ago, people outside of like the tri-state area would just be like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? And it's kind of like, I don't know. You familiar with Taylor ham at all?
Uh-uh.
Wow.
No, not
It's
that I
so,
know of, unless I know it by a different name.
no, I mean, it's so like embedded in my DNA almost that it's like I think everyone knows about it, but I still forget that, yeah, outside of where I am, it's a little more
Oh,
scarce.
oh yeah.
So it's kind
This
of
looks
like,
familiar.
yeah, it's kind of like if Spam, yeah, there it is. It's kind of like Spam and bacon had like a love child, but I don't really like Spam, even though people do. But it has that sort of consistency, but like thinner. I mean, I don't know. I like the thick cut. I'll get it in like that log there and slice it thick,
Yeah.
But any way I can get it, I'll get it. It's usually Taylor ham, egg and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup. And speaking of salt, pepper, ketchup, we actually have a salt, pepper, ketchup hot sauce that was made just for this,
Oh, nice. So that was the
and it's
creation and
going
inspiration
all
then
over the.
behind that one.
What's that?
So I was going to say that's the creation and inspiration was the Taylor ham.
Oh, absolutely. We were thinking, hey, what could be the most New Jersey hot sauce we could make? And after going back and forth, and then going to different, delis, bagel shops, diners, mostly the delis, you get a Taylor ham, egg and cheese sandwich. They'll just say, it's like one word, salt, pepper, ketchup on that. And I just kept hearing it and hearing it. I was like, what the hell? Why didn't we think of this sooner? So we made salt, pepper, ketchup. And, it's on our site. I don't have a bottle in
Yep.
front of me here to show you, but we wanted to give it that vibe. And we looked, I mean, there's been other people that have done ketchups and spicy ketchups and things like that, but we wanted it to be salt, pepper, ketchup. All about Jersey, all about diners, all about, there you go. Got the chrome, got the checkerboard for the diners.
Oh yeah.
We've been in delis, diners, bagel shops, where you get your breakfast sandwiches, food trucks, and people absolutely love it. It's got the perfect blend of all of these things, and it's made for Taylor ham sandwich or pork roll if you're from South Jersey. Uh, you know, um, but yeah, it goes perfect on all of that. And I think we were definitely the first to market it this way, but we were definitely not the first to make ketchup, a spicy ketchup. But it's in our minds and according to our taste buds exactly how we would want it if we were to get that somewhere else.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things too, the quality and the level of thought that goes into this isn't your typical go to the grocery store and find the ketchup that's on the shelf. This is crafted, this is amazing. This is that beautiful marriage of being able to have that ketchup taste, but that also that nice kiss of heat in there as well.
Yeah. And it's
So
just that it's not super hot. It's not crazy, in terms of heat. It's just got that little, because, I mean, well, in Jersey, we would, when they'd say salt, pepper, ketchup on that, they'd, get the little salt, shake it on there, the pepper, shake it on there, a little ketchup. And then a lot of folks would reach for, say, the Tabasco or the Franks or whatever to add a little bit of heat. So we put some cayenne and a little bit of red habanero in that to give it just a kiss, like you were saying, of heat to just wake it up a little bit more.
nice. Yeah. No, that's very cool. Something that I almost completely forgot to ask, and I feel like it would be a missed opportunity to not talk about it. But how did you come up with the name Jersey Barnfire?
Okay. Well, it really wasn't as complicated as I guess it could have been. We literally, Austin and I were hanging out in his basement, and we were just having a few beers, and that's how most, a lot of stories go.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of throwing names out there. We were like, all right, because we had nothing. We were already kind of selling hot sauce at these markets, and we just didn't know what to call ourselves. So we were just going back and forth, spitballing names. All right, what's around us? And we were Austin and I live in sort of like the woodsy area of Sussex County, New Jersey. Well, I did at the time. I lived not very far from him. I moved a little further west, but regardless, same sort of atmosphere, same environment. There's horse farms. There's lots of farms in general. There's a lot of nature, a lot of barns, a lot of So we just were like, all right, blah blah blah. It just went back and forth. We're throwing all these things out: horse, barn, Jersey, fire, smoke, devil, blah, blah, just back and forth. And then the words Jersey Barnfire just came out all in a row. And we were like, whoa, stop. I like that. And then we looked it up to see if it hadn't already been taken. And we were like, all right, this is it. I dig it. And the rest is history.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it is always fun to the early on the whole really the journey is a lot of fun, but the early on brainstorming, coming up with these things, the stories that come through it and how they come to be are always so fascinating because everyone's journey is very unique to them in that sense, but at the same time, like to be able to have those flash in the pan moments of like this thing's starting to click and then all of a sudden that one's catching, the next thing you've already named yourself Jersey Barnfire. It's absolutely a fun time to be able to hear, understand, and be able to as a person on the outside be able to gain a little bit more insight on how the name came to be.
Yeah, and I mean, originally we weren't sure if using the word Jersey in there was going to pigeonhole us to just being a Jersey sauce, and like that, how well would we sell outside of New Jersey? And we were just going to call it Barnfire at one point, and it was actually one of the first people that we were working with on our design and our branding that was like, you know what? No matter where you are, having some type of local identity sort of makes it more special. It gives you a home base. It doesn't make it feel so, I guess, corporate or,
Yep.
It gives you, you can sort of put a place onto your product.
Yep.
And, she kind of convinced us to keep the Jersey and keep it Jersey Barnfire. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad we did, because Jersey is definitely our home base and where we sell a lot of our products. But we've also been all around the country. We're in other parts of the world, and they have no problem selling Jersey Barnfire. So I really feel a connection to where we are. And that's, part of the reason why I think the name ultimately stuck is, although the name just sort of came from spitballing, after having a few beers, it's still like we had a purpose in mind. And that was, having it identify with where we started in our home, home turf, basically our home area.
Yep.
And we want to reflect that.
Yeah, it brings that level of relatability. To your point earlier, removes that kind of that salesy, businessy, corporate side by having that relatable aspect in there of you identifying like where home is, where y'all have really got started, where y'all are growing, and like there's that human aspect brought in there just by simply having Jersey added to the overall name. So that part's very cool. And yeah, to I guess go from that part as well. You had mentioned you've recently got into the co-packing side. I guess when did that kick off, and how did that actually play out for y'all? Did that end up having to where y'all had to have a new facility? Did y'all have to grow at all? Are y'all still operating out of the same spot, or how did that look for you?
Yeah, well, we at the time we started out, being in northwestern New Jersey and going to at the time there was we wanted to keep production in New Jersey. When we started, there weren't really any facilities we could have worked out of that did like incubator style kitchen or even co-packing, but we sort of wanted to do it ourselves anyway. We didn't want to. We weren't ready to really trust anyone in making our stuff when we still were getting the hang of it ourselves. And I like being in the kitchen. It's just kind of what makes me happy. So I enjoy actually, making the products. To just sort of pick up the phone and tell someone else to do it, I don't think I would dig it so much. obviously there's a whole other set of parameters of, you know, different things to be concerned with, and different headaches, if you will, but you'll find that anywhere. So
Yeah.
we wanted to, though, however, learn to do it properly, and that's a big important detail right there. So it turned out that Rutgers had a satellite campus called the Food Innovation Center down in South Jersey, but it was way far down South Jersey. We're talking like almost by Cape May. So it would take us from Sussex County about 3.5 hours to drive down there each way, and then make sauce for 8 hours, and then drive back, and then have to go back another day to put on the labels and the shrink bands, and then
Wow.
get them out. So that's just where we were at the time. That's the best we could do.
Yeah.
But the benefit of starting there is they taught us how to do everything right. All the procedures to follow, all of the checkpoints, uh, all the critical areas that we need to pay close attention to minimize any things from going wrong.
Yep.
And we did that as long as we could deal with that commute. And then we took our business up north and we started doing it ourselves. And with the knowledge that we were provided at Rutgers, we took that and were able to do the same thing we did there somewhere else. And we've gone to 2 other locations since then. And right now we're in a great place that we can, produce and grow. And to answer your question about the co-packing, though, we had just done a batch for a friend who got an order that was too big for him. And he's like, "Oh, you guys are doing your own, could you bang out a batch for me?" Reached out to the FDA, found out what we had to do to make another person's sauce, and wasn't a big deal. We were like, all right, no problem. And we did that. This was probably 2016. Our first year official was 2014. So 2016, we made, our first unofficial co-pack. And then we did, I think, a batch or 2 more for that dude. And then, word got around. He started telling people, "Oh, hey, so-and-so did this for me," and blah, 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 blah. And it was just very organic, very word of mouth. And through that, just people started talking, and little by little, we started getting more and more inquiries. Hey, can you make a batch for me? Can you make a batch for me? We just, whoever was making it themselves just couldn't make that much. We're talking maybe making like 15, 20 cases in a clip just for farmers markets or things like that. They weren't in like stores. They weren't, getting into subscription boxes, things like that. And we just started helping little by little by little. And it grew to now we probably co-pack for about a dozen or more different companies throughout the year. So that on top of doing our own business has
Keeps.
kept us pretty busy.
Yeah, I was about to say that's got to be keeping you extremely busy. The level of commitment, the level of care. Really, I mean, speaking to the drive time, the multiple days, the going down, and having to grind and really pour out yourself throughout that process was. Yeah, definitely. From what it sounds like, a pretty big struggle / burden on both of y'all from a family standpoint, from a life standpoint. But it sounds like during that time, you didn't let that defeat you. You let that really help enrich and refine your skills and build up that knowledge base to where now it just seems to be a little bit more free flowing. Now you know exactly the ins, the outs, and you don't have to worry about any of that. Doesn't sound like there's really that level of, oh, well, maybe I could have. No, it's like you have this down. You exactly know what to do, and that part's great. And as you continue to have these come on, do you find yourself more excited, I guess, as a new company comes to you to have you make their sauces for them from a co-packing standpoint, or is it just one of those things where it's just you're just happy to be in the kitchen?
Honestly, I enjoy, or well, the thing that when we first started, we didn't have a ton of resources available to us to I mean, until we hit Rutgers and moved on from there. But we, even just the shortcuts and things. I mean, shortcuts that aren't compromising quality, but are just like you're wasting your time doing it that way. This will, streamline your process. Just things that we were doing that were extra that didn't need to really be done, but we like to be thorough. We like to make sure, again, that we're doing things properly, not just for our own sake, but now for it, being someone else's product. We want to treat it like our own, if not better, because we want them to have confidence in us and our abilities and enjoy helping people. Because there was not that level of help that was there when we first started. It was a lot of just random, like picking and poking and prodding in different areas, talking to the FDA and the state government and all these different, official offices and such to try and get like, hey, this is how we got to do it. And also with, sourcing ingredients and, certain things that we couldn't get from local farms and getting them at a good value and whatnot. And just all of the sourcing has got to be probably one of the most painful tasks. But we take a lot of the guesswork out of the process for those who are coming in to have us do their sauce for them. A lot of times, yeah, these people have a good idea, or they have a family recipe, or they, just sort of came up with something in their kitchen one day, and we're like, hey, I'd love to just do this. And what we do is, whereas we kind of had to really dig, we have everything lined up right now. I could put people in touch with a graphic designer, a label company, bottle sources. We handle pretty much the raw material sources, the ingredients and whatnot. But we have companies that we've worked with since pretty much day one that we have already vetted. We know they're like good people. They're fair. They're honest. They're decent with their prices. And we can recommend them to people and say, hey, I send these guys your way. And also with, what is it? Just if they give me a recipe that maybe doesn't make the most sense or isn't like really efficiently worked out, I can say, all right, instead of peeling 50 pounds of mangoes and it's going to take you half a day to do it, you could just get puree or something, or frozen mangoes, because you're not getting them locally. You're getting them from who knows where. It's the same with something like that. And it's a heck of a lot easier, less time consuming, less labor. It'll save you money.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that, we can recommend different things to streamline the process and make it, more consistent also.
Yep. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. And to be able to have y'all on that side to be able to help, facilitate those learning curves, it has got to be a huge, time saver, and it take a lot of weight off of those individuals that are coming towards y'all for that co-packing experience. So very cool
Absolutely.
to hear. And now to say all that as well, I think we have a very fun game where we might see quite a few of these products here in a second. So let's go ahead and jump on over to the game.
All right.
All right, here we go. We have the Sauce Gauntlet. This is the iteration number 16. So as mentioned, we've talked quite a bit about, off and on about some of the different products that y'all have, and really kind of the overall fun that can be shared across these. But we're going to be looking at these in a different light. So I'm going to go ahead and preface Just because something gets the axe today does not mean that you dislike this product in any which way. It's just simply one has to win the overall bracket. So, firing this one up first, we're going to start up on the top and work our way in. So, we have the Strawberry Scorpion versus the Thai Chili.
All right, now I'm picking my favorite here.
Yep, however you want to break this down. That's completely up to you.
All right, well, I'm going to go with the Thai chili.
All right, Thai Chili it is. Move that one on over there, and we will slide on down.
Strawberry.
Boom. All right, well, this is the only one that is not a sauce on this bracket, just to make sure everyone's not like, whoa, you said sauce bracket. So,
And for those who have questions about the salt, I know we haven't had it in a while. We just got into sourcing new glass for that. The company that seemed the one company that had the bottle that we wanted, that we shaped our labels and everything around, stopped carrying that size and don't have anything close. So we had to go and source from somewhere else. So we finally found the right fit, and you'll be seeing the salt back at some point pretty soon. So it will be making its triumphant return shortly.
all right, well, there we go. It's one that definitely caught my eye, so it, of course, made the bracket. Well, so we have the 7-pot Primo Salt, and then we have the Smoked Peach Habanero.
Roasted peach. I'm going roasted peach on this one.
All right. Boom. And move that one on over. All right. Up next, we have Ramped Up versus, let me zoom in here. I can't see the first part, but bacon is all I can make. Black garlic bacon. That's what I was thinking, but I didn't want to say it wrong.
The ramp sauce is definitely very special to me. And that's something that, of course, I want to say we just re-released it. This spring's batch is back and on our website. Every year in April, we go and forage 50 pounds of ramps in the woods and bring it into a hot sauce. And I can probably tell you more about that later. We'll stick to the game for now.
Man,
but
that's awesome.
As much as I love the ramp sauce, and it is super special, the black garlic bacon is my second favorite sauce of all the sauces we make. So black garlic bacon it is.
All right. And is that real bacon? I know some people use real bacon, some people don't. Where do y'all fall on that?
We are not able to use bacon, meat or dairy in our facility. We're FDA, not USDA.
Ah, okay.
So unless you're a USDA facility or have it made in a USDA facility, you can't really use real meat. So we had a little workaround, and we tried and tested a whole bunch of different seasoning blends from different companies, and we found one that really made the mark, and it's crazy good. Most people don't even believe it when we tell them that there's no bacon actually in the sauce.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. All right. Now I'm intrigued. All right, here we go. Up next, we have, let me zoom in. We have the apples and spice, and then we have the Garden State green, if I could say that.
Yeah. Ooh. Man, that's a tough one. I'm going to go with the I do like pie, and apples and spice is really good on apple pie.
It is going to be pitted up next round against the black garlic bacon, so
there really isn't going to be any competition there. Then it doesn't matter what I pick.
Yep.
Let's go with the apples and spice.
All right. Apples and spice it is. All right, let's jump on over here to this top side, and boom. We have the Lion's Mane teriyaki versus the salt pepper ketchup.
All right, well, you know how I feel about that salt pepper ketchup, but I will tell you that lion's mane teriyaki is absolutely delicious. Yeah, I'm gonna go with lion's mane.
All right, lion's mane it is. I do. I'm one of those people that you always hear about where they like start their morning with a mushroom coffee. That is the
Uh,
first thing that has to hit, and lion's mane is one of the ingredients in that blend. So I do like lion's mane. All right.
yeah, we use lion's mane from a local grower, a good friend of mine, and he actually to get the flavor in that we had to smoke the lion's mane mushroom and dehydrate them to really concentrate the flavor, and then put it into the sauce, and it was absolutely perfect. And because lion's mane is sort of like a neutral flavor. I mean, it has all those like brain benefits,
Mm-hmm.
um, medicinally wise, but for flavor, that little light smoke and the dehydration really concentrates it, and that blended into the sauce made it absolutely perfect.
And it definitely sounds it. That is for sure. All right, we have Murder by Primo, and then we have Indian Summer. So this is your next batch.
All right, I'm gonna go Indian Summer on this one.
All right.
Murder by was an awesome hot marinara, but yeah, I use the Indian Summer definitely a lot more. Again, it's hard. It's like trying to pick which of your kids is your favorite. You know.
That's unfortunately the predicament that you've just been placed in. Yep. Unfortunately, only I will say this. I think you're the second company that I've actually been able to do this with because of the amount of products that you have available. So that part's pretty cool. Not too many others can say this. Well, here it gets down to the nitty gritty. We have the ghost taco, the smoked ghost taco, versus the ultra version of it. So
The
here's where you
regular
do have to
taco all the
pick.
way. The smokos taco is my favorite hot sauce that we make, if not probably my favorite hot sauce. Period. That was that just the way that ended up turning out. Just I don't use really any other aside from the black garlic bacon. Those are the two sauces I pretty much have on me always.
I like it. Definitely like that. All right. Well, now you've probably caught on to the trend. So we have the black garlic ultra versus the original.
Yeah, the original for me, just because the ultra, we made the ultra for like the extra spicy chili head community that goes a little past my threshold, but we've had a lot of requests for making something hotter of certain flavors that were on the mellower side, and they've gone over very well so far.
Nice. I like it. I'm all about that extra heat, but I do also love a sauce that is very well balanced. So I can see the need and the desire to have both of those in the lineup.
Oh yeah.
But now we're down to the final 8 here. Let's go ahead and jump on into the top part here and take a look at what we have. So we have Thai chili versus the peach habanero. Where would you like to go on this one?
Thai chili.
Thai chili it is. And let's grab that. Boom. And move on down. So we have the black garlic bacon versus the apples and spice.
Bacon.
There we go. And, let me grab that one. And keep it on moving. All right. So lion's mane teriyaki versus Indian summer.
Whew, man, this is getting tough, man. I'm gonna say, oh man, this is all right. I got to make a choice here. Sorry, kids. Let's go with. I'm gonna go with the lion's mane on this one.
All right. Actually, kind of shocked. I would have thought that it would have shaken out the other way, but Let's take a look here. We do have the smoked ghost taco versus black garlic.
Now, I know what Austin would do here, and that would be pick the black garlic. This is one of our tiny little points of contention. Is my favorite's the taco, his favorite's the black garlic, and I will take team bacon over team regular black garlic, whereas he's the purist with the original. But in this case, taco for me.
All right, I like it. And we will move this one on down. Oop, on down there. Boom. And jump on in. Now down to the final four. We have Thai chili versus the black garlic bacon. Who's moving forward?
I pretty much know how this is going to end here, but
yep.
All right, well, I'm going with bacon.
Yep. All right. Let's make this one bigger now and on over there. Get that one there. Yeah, there we go. Lion's Mane teriyaki versus taco. What are we doing?
Taco, 100%.
And then there were two.
And gonna win it, man.
Which one?
Taco's gonna win it.
All right, let's shrink this one down and give Taco the limelight here. And there we go. Taco takes it home. So we have our winner for the Sauce Gauntlet 16. How do you think that ended up going? I know it was a little bit tough having to kind of pick out the children and find which one was your favorite, but hopefully not too bad.
Yeah. No, not too bad at all. Honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot harder. Again, like they all have a special place in my heart and in my soul and my being, at one point or another, and they always will. But yeah, and funny thing, when my wife and I started dating, she was not really super into spicy things, and we went to this Mexican restaurant that had actually really good food, but their homemade sauce offerings were pretty weak. So I said, yeah, hold on a second there. This was maybe like our second or third date. I said, I'm going to go out to my car and I'm going to get something. And I came back in and I had the taco and I poured a whole bunch of it all over my food. And she was just kind of looking and was like, let me try a little bit of that. And that's a little on the hotter side of the sauces that we have. It's definitely in the more upper register, whereas say black garlic or Indian summer is not. And immediately fell in love with it. And she's had pretty much all of our sauces and absolutely loves the taco and keeps a bottle in her purse at all times.
There we go. That is the vote of confidence right there. Always keeping a bottle on you is definitely the smart way to go, because you never know where you're going to be eating next, or if they're going to have the right flavoring and heat needed. So keeping a bottle on you.
Whenever we go out, I always got sauce on me. And whenever, when it's funny too, because when Austin and I will go meet up and, have a little business meeting or whatever, we'll bring like a half a case, or maybe like we'll walk in with like a box of our sauce and just like lay them all out on the table. And like people just start like looking and they're like, what you got there? Oh, that looks interesting. Oh, can we try some of that? Even like the staff, the servers, maybe even like a manager will come over and be like, so, been a bunch of talk about this table with all this hot sauce out. And, it definitely, turns a few heads, so we're always putting it out there. But, when it comes to the one, that for me, that's always the taco.
Nice. I like it. Definitely like that. It's always great to have the hot sauce on hand and ready to go, and having it be that conversation starter is even better. But here we go. Now here's your moment for a nugget of knowledge, but I want to frame yours nugget of knowledge to be in the mindset of, say, someone that's wanting to go down that road of co-packing. like a nugget of knowledge that they might need to know about the process that otherwise they wouldn't know going into it?
Well, I think the biggest shell shock is the upscaling. And, people that have made maybe enough to fill like 4 or 5 jars on their stovetop at home are like, oh, well, that wasn't that big a deal to make it that way. And, the way I did it and, for what I spent for the ingredients. And then they're like, okay, well, now I'll be like, all right, well, now we're going to upscale it to like 40 gallons. And they'll be like, okay, that doesn't sound so bad, 40 gallons. And then, you break it down for them and everything. And it's just like, it's a bit of a shell shock because all the costs that go into it is a lot more than people think.
Yep.
Even if you're getting like the best deal around, and we are super fair with that in terms of minimums and such, it's a lot different from, 4 or 5 bottles when you get up to like 700-800 bottles or even 2,000 bottles. So, you're spending, whatever on, it's just the exponential upscaling. When they see that final number, they're just like, oh my God, I should have taken out, I need to take out a loan or something. I need to like sell my car. Well, it's not that bad, but they kind of don't see it coming. So what we generally do, and again, I know this is for people that are just hearing this right now, but what we generally do is when we get involved with someone, I made a checklist of all things to expect right off the bat. Here you go. If you don't think this is for you, or you're going to know right away. Here's all the things that we had to do, that other companies got to do to get to where we are, and the costs roundabout what are involved in every step of the process. So what some people don't think of is, oh, okay, well, we got to put a label on the bottle. Well, you also have to pay a graphic designer to design your label, and that costs by the hour, usually whatever rate they charge. Then you got to have it formatted. Then you have to go get it printed by a printer and pay per piece, no matter, whatever, how many you decide to have done. It's not just like, oh, I'm going to go on my computer and print out like Avery label templates, like those pages you get over at Staples or whatnot, and do it that way. It's like, to do it professionally, it requires a bit more output. Then you've got your graphic designer, you've got your printer, you've got your, you need what's called a schedule process, which basically it's the FDA or some process authority or approved figure giving you the thumbs up and the green light to make your sauce under certain parameters to keep it safe. And that can run like $300 a clip, but it's a one-time fee. Then you got to pay for bottles, caps, barcodes, which is another thing. If you want to sell it commercially, you need a barcode or a UPC. You need a nutrition panel made. So you need to, formulate your recipe into where it gives you nutritional information. When you're just bottling something in the kitchen at home, you're not thinking all that stuff. You're just like, hey, I brought it to a boil, I blended it, I put it in a bottle. Yay. I wrote, John's hot sauce on the bottle, and now I'm going to go sell it now. And it's like, no, you're not.
Yep.
You can give it to your friends, whatever, but it's like, yeah, to go commercial, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. And if we weren't already because initially when we started doing it, we were like, we weren't necessarily, we just thought you make it in a commercial kitchen, it's fine. We were, obviously taking temperature. We didn't really know much about pH yet and this and that, but that we learned all that at Rutgers. So we were already we almost made that full commitment without even knowing exactly what was coming. And then it was like, oh, basically everything has a freaking price tag attached to it. So that's the other thing is, we were like, okay, well, when you add all this stuff up, like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's kind of a lot, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But ultimately, even after all of those expenses are paid and you get out there and start selling it, you're making that money back like 3- and 4-fold. But it's just that initial investment to get off the ground. is what might intimidate some people. But it's like, then it's your job to get out there and move that sauce to make that money back.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really helping facilitate less load, less time on the on their plate by having y'all do it, and at the same time, yes, completely can see where that would be a little bit eye opening. Definitely, if the person's not really business mindset, they're not really thinking about all the different moving variables, to walk in and go from, like, yes, you're saying, simply making it at home in mason jars that you're storing it in and so on. It's a totally different, it's like, playing in the professional leagues versus starting a, sandlot team, right? It's two different avenues.
Exactly.
So, I can definitely see that panning out in that manner. But all right, well, then now here's where you get to nominate someone on the hot seat. The hot seat is someone that you think would make a great guest for the show.
All right. Well, the past couple of, actually last year in particular, I met somebody that I never met before at New York City Hot Sauce Expo. And this dude's got some pretty unique stuff going on. His name's Homero Gonzalez. He owns Harmacy Hot Sauce. And I was really digging on what he was doing. He's a super nice dude. Can't miss him. He's got these thick white framed glasses. He's out there on social media. Go check him out. Yeah, really nice dude, and makes some pretty unique sauces. Definitely span a lot of different flavors. Really complex. Definitely like what he's doing.
All right. Well, Homero, would look forward to having you back on the show. Definitely, absolutely great nomination there. And, here's where you get to really share out with others that are coming out. I know you said Ramped Up is hitting soon. Is there anything that you want to let everyone know watching and listening that you'll have going on? And also, where can they keep up with you?
All right. Well, keeping up, follow us on Facebook. It's just Jersey Barnfire, just Jersey Barnfire Hot Sauce LLC. Sometimes in the search bar, it's weird. You got to be a little extra specific sometimes on Instagram, Twitter. I don't want to mess with them so much with Twitter, but TikTok, we're giving that a try. At Jersey Barnfire. That's where we announce all of our new product offerings, when things get released or re-released, seasonal things, where events where we're going to be at. Best thing to do beyond that is to go on our website, jerseybarnfire.com, and sign up for the mailing list. We're always running promotions that sometimes are email specific, and we send out just through that avenue alone. And we always keep everybody updated, random promotions and announcements, and again with the events and where we're going to be. So that's the best way to stay on top of what we're up to, and to keep an eye on what we're doing.
All right. Well, hey, John, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, we only got to scratch the surface here. Would love to have you back on, dive a little bit deeper, and get to better understand Jersey Barnfire, as well as all the great things that you'll have rolling out in the future. So thanks so much for being here.
Really appreciate it, man. And if I could, just one last thing, I just want to throw this out. We were talking about the Ramped Up hot sauce, and this stuff right here is ready to go right now. It is super delicious. I know it didn't make the cut in my Sauce Gauntlet there, but Taco takes the trophy, man, always. For those of you who don't know what ramps are, they are a wild allium, kind of like garlic. It's actually, now being an Italian, I wish I would have known about this way sooner. Because in the same plant, you're getting the flavors of garlic, green onion, and leeks all at once. And it grows wild for maybe like 2 to 3 weeks. Springtime, it's one of the first greens that come up in the wild. So we literally have to go in the woods and forage these things. And we actually just posted a reel on our Instagram, kind of chronicling the process out in the woods and doing our thing. Check it out. And chefs go nuts for this stuff, because after making things with root vegetables for like 4 months, they're really excited to see something green that they can use. And I found out about ramps in restaurants, and The flavor that they offer is so amazing. After being prompted by a fellow chef to, do something hot sauce related with ramps, I, did a little test batch, and it, what I ended up passing around was crazy. They're like, if you don't bottle this for real, you're nuts. And although it's tough to get roughly 50 pounds of these things, because they don't weigh a whole hell of a lot, it definitely takes a lot of time outside. I mean, I love being in the woods, but yeah, this was definitely some hunter-gatherer type business here. And it's we blend it with a little Scotch bonnet. There's what is it? There's ginger in there. There's rice vinegar. There's yuzu and lemon. It sort of has this citrusy sort of pesto vibe, and it's great on like Italian subs, on pasta, like sandwiches, marinade. It's really, really, really delicious. Definitely give it a shot. It's only here for a short amount of time. And yeah, for moving forward after this podcast, it will likely be in effect. I'm going to be running a sale on the Murder by Primo, which is our hot marinara. Want to get some, whoa, it's just going all over the place here. I want to get some people trying it. It kind of gets lost a little in the mix because, things like the black garlic and Indian summer and whatnot are really taking center stage. But if you like marinara and you eat a lot of Italian food, and, which many of us do, especially in New Jersey, give it a shot. It's amazing. I have one friend who literally uses it as his marinara sauce and just dumps bottles of it all over spaghetti and meatballs and parm and all that. And it's absolutely fantastic. And of course, the Indian Summer, which was our grand world champion. Oh, it's all right. Here we go. There we go. Hey, technical difficulties here. So yeah, Indian Summer was our grand world champion, Screaming Mimi award winner of 2019 in the New York City Hot Sauce Expo. And we're going to be running a promo on that real soon after this podcast, and also be on the lookout because by the end of the summer, we are going to have, as we did with the black garlic and the taco, an ultra hot Indian Summer is coming.
Oh, nice.
So for all of those who want more heat from that, we're bringing it.
Well, definitely will be sharing the word around for all those that are watching and listening to the podcast, as well as those that keep up with the socials as these products roll out and the discounts and everything that you have going on. So once again, thank you so much for being on here. Looking forward to checking those out. And thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks again for having me.
If you want to keep up with Jersey Barnfire, I will have the direct links to the website as well as links to all the socials, so you can keep up with Jersey Barnfire, check out the amazing products that they have, and keep up with any kind of events or any kind of updates and announcements that they have going on. As you're watching this now, there is a current sale going on a few of the sauce products. So head on over to the website, grab yourself some amazing products while they're discounted and while they have a limited time sauce back featured and ready to go. So also, if you enjoyed the product that was discussed here on Hot or Not tonight from Chico Blanco Hot Sauce, I will have the direct links for it down below. And don't forget, new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads and individuals that might just be curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, podvision.io. If you are looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all those needs, as well as webdx.one. If you have an online site, maybe it's out of date, maybe you had somebody at one point, you've lost contact with them, maybe it's just not a great representation of you and your business and the quality that y'all have. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one for all of those needs. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.